Okay. Oh, where is the No.
Good morning.
Morning, morning. It
Good
is
morning.
bright and early.
Bright and early this morning. It really is. Welcome to Me Moments in the Morning, where we get together to slay each day or to begin our slay. So, good morning, goddesses. How are you, Mountain Spirit? How are you, Marie?
I
Glad to be
am
alive.
good. I'm bringing you the
Oh, wow.
sunshine
Thank you, Marie, because it's
and the
raining over
joy. I see Val is popping in. Oh, we're going to have a fantastic four. Fantastic four
here. Yes, the family is complete.
Yes,
on a
yes, yes, yes.
Thursday.
It's
Yeah,
good.
I'm going to be the only sunshine here. This is what's happening.
And I thank you
I'm
profusely.
stretching before getting on, apparently. So I don't know. It's a
We
whole
need a
Olympics.
little sunshine. We need a little sunshine. I brought a little love with my red earrings.
Oh,
Ooh,
thank
I
you. We
got a little
need,
love.
yes, we need
all
all the
right.
colors. Bring
I
it
love
on.
Yes,
it.
yes, yes.
And here we
Good
are.
morning, Val.
Surprise!
So it's like Full House. Yay!
Full whole
Full
house. A whole
house.
house.
Yes,
Full
I'm
house.
loving the full house. Good
Yes.
morning. Dr. Renee is in the house with
Oh,
us.
Dr. Renette
Good
is
morning,
here. All
goddess.
right.
Good morning, Dr. Renee.
Sunshine. She say sunshine.
All right.
Yes.
My
Yeah.
life,
It's
my
the
life,
real
my life, my
spirit.
life.
Sunshine. Yeah, see? I swear Val is my sister. Our music.
Mm. She's like a whole record collection.
What's
I
going
second
on
that.
here?
Yeah. Y'all couldn't
Folks
have come to this planet one at a time. You had to come at the same
We
time.
had to be here at the same
Had to.
time. Exactly.
folks get brown
Exactly.
in the sunshine.
Yes. So today we are talking about the Shero inside. The Shero inside. Uh, there's a little hero, Shero inside of each of and every one of us. So I would like to begin by sharing this message with you this morning.
T
And
is in the house.
T is in the house. Good morning, Goddess. So glad that you are here. So we are reading today from the Slay Bible, Slay, Self Love Awaits You.
All
It's
right.
Self
You are
Love
ready.
Her Healing Evolution
Oh,
and
you're going electronic.
Growth.
Okay, Val.
Oh, so let's go on over to the Slay Bible. If you have yours on hand, I am reading from page 150 or so,
50-ish
50-ish.
in that
Oh,
region.
I'll start on 149 and head into
Okay.
150.
Okay,
So
shoot.
people have a hard time. Huh? People have a hard time believing I was always a quiet and shy little girl. I really was, though, with the exception of things like modeling and choreographing and dancing and later on cheerleading. At those times, I always got to live from a place deep inside me, a place where this spark resided. And anytime I did anything I loved, anything that brought me joy, anything that allowed me to let my guard down, that spark grew and expanded a little more and a little more. Living from that space always gave me immense joy and happiness. And this brings to mind a picture from a magazine article I came across a few years ago. I'm pretty sure it was in Essence, maybe Ebony, one of those magazines. So if you know this magazine and you know the article that I'm talking about and you have a copy of it, send it to me because I can't find it anywhere. But I remember cutting it out and putting it on one of my vision boards because of how empowered it made me feel. And although the article itself is a bit faded in my mind, the picture and the feeling of it remains vivid. It was a little black girl in a red and blue superhero costume with the yellow S on her cape. She had two big afro puffs And you could see the side profile of her face as her fists rested strongly on her hips with her back to the camera. And the adult version of her with a full afro filled the expanse of the background. That picture was and is so relevant to our present journey of getting back to the core of who we really are. It represents the very essence of our desire to live from and unveil our ideal self as we work to live out loud, on purpose, and in our power. So I envision each of us with that little superhero inside navigating the way when we let her. She embodies everything that we've ever wanted to be or become in life. She represents your innate ability to ensure happiness, freedom, love, light, and that I can't help but to do me kind of attitude. She is the goddess of self love, and she is the innermost aspect of you, waiting for you to come back to get her. I promise you, she is there. That's the Shero within. That's the Shero inside of you. And so that then is going to bring us to the question of the day. And that is, are you still dreaming? Is that Shero inside of you still dreaming? Is she still dreaming? Do you know the Shero within you? Look, I got lots of questions this
Oh
morning.
yeah.
Yes. So there
You're
we are.
thinking.
She is
Like,
the
can you find the Shero if you ever had it and you lost it?
Can you let her out to play? Because I want to play with her. That's who I want to
Sometimes
talk to.
it's so noisy, we can't hear her, you
Oh,
know?
that's
Mm.
right.
Um,
Oh,
yeah.
you
It's like,
still
we gotta shut
dreaming.
up. How the Prince used to say? Shut up.
La 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 la.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
I
a very deep question.
it
Mhm.
is.
Right now well, Tracy, kind of my accountability partner here, keeps me on track with delivering on my topic. So that's my topic that I'm working on now with our university is the color indigo,
Mm,
and that's the color that pertains to thinking clearly, um, being able to tap into your inner self, your inner consciousness color. It's neither blue nor purple. It's like right in the middle.
mhm.
But that's the color of our third eye, and that's the
Oh.
introspection. That's the listening to what's going on the inside. But what I'm finding is that without having first balanced the first five colors, the first five layers, it's very hard to hear
To hear. It is.
what your inner ear is saying, and to decipher what your third eye is seeing. So it's quite a challenge to just come in cold and be able to hear your Shiro.
Yeah.
But because it's us, we can do it with strong intention, and that's why I love the affirmations and the now isms, because they pull at our intention. They force us, right, to give it
Yes.
sound.
Mhm.
They force us to say it. So I'm very eager to hear where we go from here. Because
Right.
all I have to say is this: it's hard. Somebody said yesterday, this is hard. It's challenging, but the work is in accepting the challenge. Like,
Mm.
what
Yes.
is my Shiro saying? I want to hear her. Shut up, everybody. I want to hear her.
Y'all, y'all be quiet. That's
It's
right.
inner. It's inner language. It's not to y'all. It's to me.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I love it.
All right. Let's
Intention
see.
and affirmations. The work is in the challenge. Yes.
In the
Inner
challenge.
language. There's an inner language that definitely we need to be speaking. All right. Come
Well,
on, goddesses. Tell me what you're thinking.
well, this is off the top of my head. I definitely know that my inner Shiro was silenced through trying to satisfy other people or to make other people happy.
Mhm.
When my mother was here, it was always about make sure that you have a job, that was a good thing. That was great advice. But I would always come back with, but I love to do this.
Yes.
And every time I would come back to her and say, hey, this is what I love to do. And she would look at me, is it paying? She's kind
Mhm.
of, especially if she had on glass, she got to look over her glasses. Is it paying you? And then another thing that with my mom, like what I'm doing right now, she thought that at back in the day it was called broadcasting, being on the radio. She's like, I feel like a lot of men do that. I don't think women do that. I think you should do something else. So I've found the inner Shero of myself, the one that loved to talk to people and express herself, was being guided into this world that I had been in for 3 decades. And now I'm so grateful I'm not there anymore and that I have picked up the mic, put my hands on my hips, and I'm looking to the east, excited. And I know that I'm making my mom proud in that I have tapped into my inner Shero. In other words, the one who loves to express herself and to share joy and happiness. I know that's my inner superpower. Like we hear about that. What is our superpower? It is
Yeah.
to encourage, it is to bring joy. This is a natural joy. That's
Mm.
why I'm drawn to Tracy. It's a natural joy that comes from her. And we just need to tap into that.
Yeah.
And the big question is the how, right?
Oh my
Mm.
gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think let go of the how. Let it attract it to you, because that's when you're like, this is too
Allow.
much. Let
Yeah,
go. Release the how.
yeah, I really believe it's in the silence. It's in the and for most of us, it's something we really fear. I mean, whether we care to admit it or not, just being alone with our own thoughts for
Hmm.
like extended periods of time. It's important to know what's being said in there, and we spend very little time listening to that, but we can't hear it without the silence.
Yes.
At least I can't. You know that silence is important, and when you're doing this work, there's a lot of noise.
Hmm.
Everybody's always saying something. You
Mhm.
know, I have a mother too, and I hear her all the time. You know, like, why don't you get a real job? I stopped telling her when I got promotions because to her,
Wow.
I was an analyst, and it's like, what are you doing? She would always ask me, what do you do? You just sit there and think? Like, nobody gonna pay you for that. Nobody wants to know what you think, you know? But this is their reality. And you're so right, Val. This is the time to figure out what our reality is. And
Yes.
it always goes back to that thing we love, doesn't it?
Mm.
You know, that thing that we do where time disappears, that thing.
Yes.
Um, and I agree. I think your superpower is your voice, Val.
Mm.
I don't have a right to
Speak
impose
your voice.
on you, but I just think that that's your superpower. When you speak, what comes out of your heart through the resonance of your voice is it's very empowering. It don't even matter what you say. It's just your vibration that
Be
comes through
like,
your voice is so beautiful.
say anything. It's like a foreign language. Say something, and we
Yeah.
good.
Whatever you want, girl, you got it.
Oh, I love it, Mountain Spirit. I accept all of that love. Oh my gosh,
You got
Tracy.
it.
Oh my
Take it.
goodness. I'm gushing
Take
over
it
here,
all.
Tracy.
Yeah.
Take
Right.
it.
It's
Take
a
it.
wonderful thing, though. Just own that power. Operate from that, Val. Just know that we see you, right? We see you. We hear you.
Hmm.
We resonate with you. You are our sister on this journey. I'm telling you.
And then we're like, do it
All the
some more. Do it some more. Do it some more.
yes.
Usually, other people tell you to like
This
shut it
part right
down.
here, you hear me talking about cultivating your own self-love garden and cultivating and doing
Mhm.
these things. This right here, you being in our space, us being, together, this is not by coincidence, right? Yeah. So we're helping to pull each other's Shiro out. You
For sure.
yes.
For sure. I
Yeah.
didn't even know I had one.
You didn't
Mm.
know you had a
I
Shiro. Right?
found
We
y'all.
all do though. We
It's been
all
there
do.
all along.
Mhm.
All
It's been
along.
you all the time. Yes, it's been there all along. She is there. Um, Marie, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking a lot. I mean, that's probably one of mine with like, I think and feel things smell things within seconds in terms of that part. So I think mine is more subtle. And so a lot of time you don't know when it's gonna come out.
Mm.
Something's gonna happen and then there it is. And so for me, I had to be comfortable in that space. It is the silence, but it's also something where people are so used to the loud and the flamboyant and the sort of like somebody just taking space, right? So you expect to see the big sign and there it is. And so for me, I had to accept that mine were really in the quietness. And there's power in that as well. Like I don't have to match that high energy of other people for me to
Exactly.
feel that way. And so I see it more when I'm by myself, but also things that I put on paper that I'm sharing, then it's like, is she speaking to me? Like a lot of time that's when I know it's there because people are like, she's talking to me because then it's more direct. And I think sometimes it's unexpected because you're so used to just the subtleties of me sharing it and then there it is. And so for me, sometimes I don't know when something in that space is going to happen where it comes out. So I think a lot of people, if you've had the chance to hear my poetry, I see it more in that space where it's
Yeah.
just very clear. There is no mystery. Whatever I want to say, it
Mhm.
is there. If you're like, what did she say? This is probably what's going to happen because you're not used to hearing it so directly. It's like, what did she say? Did she just say that? Yep, it's there,
Yeah.
written there.
Yeah. And you know, I wanted to also ask my sisters here about dreaming. Um,
Mm,
'Cause I'm a dreamer, and a lot of my information, I would say 89% of the information that comes to me clearly, it's through dreams. I guess that's where my mouth is actually shut, right? When there's
mm,
no other voices. But it is an avenue. It is a pathway by which our Shiro can speak to us.
Mhm.
And one of my teachers told me a long time ago that when you get lost, go back to your original dream. Go to the shelf, take it off, dust it off, and go back to your original dream, because we tend to think, oh, that was little when I had that. That's what
right.
happened. And it may not be a practical dream in and of itself, but what it represents about the inner you, it says a lot about you. So I would say going back to our original dream about ourselves, what we want to do in our lives, but also paying attention to what we are dreaming, because there's signals in there. And when we
Mm,
have when we have a lot of people say to me, oh, I can't remember my dreams. When you have an inability to dream, that's actually an indicator of third eye imbalance,
Mm.
because your third eye is when it's active and it's healthy and it's balanced, it's capable of remembering what took place in that realm. So I would say returning to the basic dreaming. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mountain Spirit.
mhm.
That's right. Go back to the original dream. Go back,
Cool.
way back into time. I'm
And
sorry. I'm
that's
sorry.
hard.
It may not be that far. I think sometimes too people don't have to remember the whole thing.
No.
So
Mhm.
even if it's because sometimes we try to force it, like I gotta remember
Right.
because usually when it's getting good, this is when you just like you up. But I think it will be a recurring dream, particularly if it is the one. Like it will just be almost like a hunting sort of thing where you're just getting little pieces, little pieces. But sometimes we resist it. And so you're like, oh, that's not what I wanted, or it's scary. So you
Mhm.
don't want to get to the end to get the full answer or the cue that you're receiving. And
Hmm.
so you missed out because you're like, I don't want that. Or,
Right.
you're just so restless. And again, your mind is running. You're not truly allowing it to come through. So you may happen to get it 10, 20 years later because
Yeah.
you never made the time to just let it flow through you.
Mhm.
Well, we
Mm.
get caught
Yeah.
up though. We get caught up in not minding our bees nest is what I like to say. So we get caught up in the busyness of life. We get caught up in
Mm-hmm.
the business piece, doing our professional thing, but we get caught up in the buzziness of
Mm,
social media now and all of these different things. They're all distractors, and we have to be mindful of where we're directing our energy and where we're allowing other people to speak into us,
mm,
and just kind of cutting that off so we can begin to go into that silent space. People like, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. But I see you posting 75 times a day. You have time for something. You don't want to make time for that. Maybe
for
that is
that
a
one.
scary
Yeah.
space to step
Sometimes
in.
I think, yeah, there's different loudness. So I think for me, even certain sounds, like you might create, again, that's what we talk about, our sacred spaces and those
Mhm.
rituals. Because
Yeah.
they'll sound that me brings it out. So, like this morning I tried my best not to have anything loud, but it's like there's certain music, certain sounds that can just literally let that come out. But you still have to be still and simply be listening and let it come through you. And so for me, sometimes the music is still there. Sometimes the music is there, it's not because something is playing. It's just something that's just happening simultaneously. And again, not being afraid where it's like, where's that coming from? I think we always think there's something external happening. And I think we're afraid of what's coming out of us. And so I think that's why sometimes the whatever creative, whether you call it creative or not, let it come through those outlets or avenues. Because for some of us, you might be in the thing where you get in the zone and the answers come out. So some people write, some people sing, some people do other things that kind of get them to be there. And you
Yeah.
can dream awake. You don't always have to be sleeping or laying down. Like something will just come to you
Ah,
in the midst of who knows what, but only to you in that moment.
Yeah.
I
And I'm even talking about going back to childhood and remembering the things that you loved, right? She loved those things. She loved, like for me, even with the dancing, and then,
mhm,
it was the thing that brought me the most joy. The
right.
dancing, singing, like just doing the whole thing. I can remember in the fourth grade, Tishka Beasley Finley, hey, we decided that because I was working on that whole quiet thing, and I wanted to be, a little more just kind of interactive with people, and we decided that we were going to get into this little talent show, right? And they had different things, and every week we did this talent show, and we would make up dances and sing, and just we would have a good time. We never won the talent show, but every week we did something. I remember Sister Sledge, We Are Family, and we doing our little, birds of a feather thing. But like get back to that space where you were the most into that, right? Do you think from that, Val, you brought up, I think it was yesterday when we were talking,
Mhm.
and you brought up that I've been like in childhood, I was talking about music and the songs and just doing all of those different things. So can we tap into those dreams, those things that gave us love, that those things that gave us life and just made us happy, right? Can we put down the hustle and just flow a little bit more?
Yeah, well, I guess what the millennials and young folk people call it adulting. So
Mm,
we had to adult, especially if we had children, if we were people that ran a household, we had to grow up in a sense and leave the child behind, literally screaming in the corner saying, "Don't forget about me,"
Don't forget
because
about
you had to go off and be an adult and pay your bills and keep the lights on and keep a roof over everybody's head.
yeah,
That
yeah,
is the other Shero that I see, and sometimes that adult Shero will unfortunately silence the little girl in each and every one of us, or the little boy in each and every one of us,
yeah,
to not come into fruition of, you'll talk to someone and say, I always dreamed about doing this. But come to find out that they are a sanitation worker. Nothing against sanitation
mm,
workers. It pays well. But you had to do what you had to do to
what you had to
provide for your family.
do. Hmm. Right, but how long do we allow that piece to keep us from who and what we really are?
We
From
make
tapping into our true dream, right? And
mhm,
and I'm, me, I'm going to run it into the ground. Your purpose, your passion, all of that is powerful, and whatever you find to be your purpose,
mhm.
that will continually make room for you. It will
Yeah.
Yeah.
continually make room for you. If I stayed on the road that I was on, I absolutely would be doing some phenomenal things within the nursing field.
Yeah.
But I knew that there was something else inside of me. There's something else inside of me that needs to come up and out, and I need to begin to trust that part of me to make room for everything.
If
And
following the love. I'm sorry, Tracy. Go ahead.
following the love. Yes, no, that is
Follow the
true.
love.
Tomorrow
Yeah.
I'm celebrating. You are celebrating with me
Yeah.
tomorrow that I stepped out 6 years ago. I stepped out. And no matter what's going on, there's money here, there's money there, there's not money here, there's not money there, and all of these different things are going on, but I'm still here,
Mm.
right? I'm still able to do what I'm doing because I'm following my purpose. I'm following my passion. I'm walking in my power and my truth, and I can't worry about the rest. I have to allow that to continue to make room for me, right? We're scared though. And I was on the other side of that, where, oh my gosh, this is my security blanket. What do you
Yeah.
mean I'm stepping away from 6 figures a year
Yeah.
to I don't even know what?
But that's
Yeah.
But
injected
we have to
into
begin to.
us.
It
That
is.
that's injected into us because what is wrong with the idea that you can earn a living and make all the money you need to support your life by doing what you love? See, we the idea was injected into us that you love this, but that has to be put to the side because you have to work to support your
Mm.
life, and that's the first lie we have to
We have to
dispel.
slay.
Yeah, we have to
Slay it.
slay that lie right there. Because you know what? Even though nobody showed me, I didn't have a single woman in my entire lineage on either side that could show me supporting your life doing what you love looks like, because everyone has been sacrificing the love
Mm.
for
Mm,
survival. And
Hmm.
mm,
that's not necessarily so, because you look at other people in the world and it's doable. It's doable. So we have to first do what you did, Tracy, and say, wait a minute, I'm not loving this.
mhm.
I'm not loving this. And I have a little secret to tell. It's like to 30 seconds. That ain't going to take that long. When I decided to go after what I love, I found that what I loved, my most loving moment in my life was when I went out the back of our house naked and
Mm.
immersed myself in mud. That is the most loving moment I have. My mother
Mm.
says I was 4 or 5 years old. But every time I want to remember a love, like being totally in love, like from head to toe, and freedom, where I just went
Mm.
and covered myself in mud. So when I get depressed, and I do suffer from depression, it's just a chemical thing. But at least I know
Yes.
how to arrest it when I'm there. I go touch mud. I stick my feet in mud.
Mm.
I just get my hands dirty, and somehow the smell of the dirt, and it just brings back as a complete emotional recall. So there you go. That's why I'm an herbalist, an ethnobotanist, a farmer.
Yes.
I stay as close to dirt
To the earth.
as I
As
can,
you can.
and I
And
make
that's
money.
your purpose. That's your passion, right? And that's what I love about you. I want everybody to work from that place. Y'all, and I know y'all probably like, this girl want us to go out and quit our jobs. I don't know, but we talking about exit strategies tomorrow. Maybe
Mm.
maybe
Like
you
there is
can
a
set
way.
it up so that way you can begin
Yeah.
to make those
Yeah.
moves, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's possible. It's possible. But my thing is, I think again, for some people, we still need to acknowledge the reality, but the idea that we can co-create a new reality
right,
simultaneously. Because
right.
the reality, it is what it is. Like I remember again, like for me, just working, just having those jobs, being laid off, and being a single mom, and be like, I
Hmm.
got to do what I got to do. So when you think of the
Hmm.
jobs that I've taken, below what y'all know, and sometimes some of you don't even know, you just know because of who you are and how you see me. You're like, hell no, she can't be doing that. But in
Mm,
that moment, I'm like, either keep getting unemployment or do this and having a mouth to feed. But simultaneously, if you truly look at your life, you see you're still doing that thing. Even if it's in the middle of the night, even if it's early in the morning, even if it's when you think you're tired and you're like, let me go and paint, let me go and write, let me go and still get the energy to dance, or let me write that song, or even that dream board or vision board that you're still creating it, but you're still doing what you got to do. And I think sometimes I don't want people to feel guilty because they're not there yet. There's still a feel like, can I do this? But still do what you got to do. Particularly women of color, we always do what we got to do. Like
yeah.
it's almost innate where we like, I will figure this out. But there's still that part of you that still continue to nurture the other piece, and then
but
eventually it's gonna click.
that's what I'm saying though, Marie. I don't think that we are nurturing that piece. I think that we are so inundated with the hustle and the flow, and I
Mm,
gotta do this
We
part
are.
that we can't dream.
And
I don't think that we're dreaming.
and I have to say that I the last corporate job that I was in, I remember going there and feeling some kind of way and so depressed.
mm,
But I ultimately, God moved me out of what I was doing. And what forced my hand in to look to see what I love to do was unfortunately the death of my mother. Because I was thinking, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And I had to literally get on my hands and knees and pray about it and literally silence everything because I'm like, I'm in New York. All I know is hustle and bustle. And God's like, no, go
Oh,
back home, rest.
mm.
And I need you to tap into your inner self and go back to what you love to do.
yeah. But we're scared of it.
Of course.
And that's the piece that I want you to realize. I
Hmm.
was scared of it too.
Yeah.
I was scared of it. I was scared of that. Just making, and you can set it up so that you can do what you want to do. I speak to
Yeah.
women every day, and this is why I know we're not dreaming. We have all of these things in the background, such as uh, oh, I wrote this book. Yes, you know who I'm talking to. There's a few of you out there. I wrote this book, but I'm scared. I don't want to put it out there.
Oh
I
yeah.
want to write a book. I I want to do this. We even had someone came in the room one day over on Clubhouse, and she was just talking and talking and talking, and she lit up when she talked about dancing. She used
Mm,
to
mhm.
dance
I remember
Mm,
that.
professionally, and we asked the question, "Are you still dancing anywhere in your life?" And you could tell, just kind of, it was that forehead pop again,
Yeah.
like, whoop. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not dancing. I'm working. I'm doing this thing over here. So, uh, when do I have time to dance? When do I have time to do the things that I love doing?
yeah. And if people listen to the harsh criticism of saying you shouldn't do this or you're too short or you're too whatever that negative statement is, you literally reject those negative statements,
Yeah.
those things that
Mhm.
people speak over your
Shut
life.
that out and
Yes,
wake up the hero.
and
Find
right.
your hero. Mhm.
You let her slay that and go, no, 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 no.
Yes.
I affirm and I intend to be my Shero, and I can tap into that. I don't have to stay in this lane of just a job. The
Mhm.
job is just over broke. That's what I always said. Job is just over broke because you never will make enough money.
Right.
You will never make enough money. I don't even care if it's six figures for what sometimes the crap that you go through for
Mhm.
the job. But if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping we'll make room for those who are not there. I think holding
Yeah.
space.
Well,
And I
so
think in a way I was there where I'm like, to me, I looked at all these stuff as a luxury. And then being
Mhm.
stressed, being worried about everything. And again, I think I wrote a piece called Lost and Lost, right? So it's like, you in that space, but I think it takes so much to get out of it and to see what's possible. And I think a lot of times just the burden of being and doing nonstop with zero support. And so just the idea of seeing somebody else do it and still knowing like you can also do that, but also the idea that at some point I had to forgive myself because I wasn't there yet. So seeing that journey, recognizing it, be able to reflect and knowing I can still dream even though I have all these responsibilities,
yeah.
all, babies and so forth. And for me, I'm one of those people, even before the typical family thing, I was the responsible one. And when you that
Mhm.
person, the oldest in the family, it
Mhm.
looks like a luxury to just enjoy your life
Mhm.
and just be until you're willing to
But
release it
that
and be like, you take care
Mhm.
of yourself. I'm going to take care of me. But that takes time. But you
It
can get there.
does. It does, and that's why I'm here.
Hmm.
That's why I do what I do,
But
because
that's why we're
that's
all
why
here
we are here,
Yeah.
right?
to learn from each
Exactly.
other. If it took
Yeah.
me 25 years, you don't, it doesn't have to take you 25
Yeah.
years.
That's true.
Mhm.
It might have taken my teacher 60 years, and because of her, it took me 30. So with each
Mm,
generation, we learn
yes.
something.
Yes.
I can't say, oh, my situation is worse than it was for you, or yours is worse than it is. No, it's just, it's a mindset we're talking about. We're not talking about pushing somebody out of a window. And
Mm,
there's nothing to feel guilty about. I fail to relate to the guilt thing because
Right.
this was done to you. What
Yes.
are you feeling guilty about? No, you didn't
Mhm.
do this.
right.
I'm
Right.
just saying, wake up.
That's the
There's no
conditioning,
difference
though.
waking up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like,
Hmm.
whoa, I can do this. I can get out of this. I have a superpower. I have a Shero. I have an original dream.
That's
The
right.
guilt doesn't fit into any of those things, really, because you didn't do this,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
But understanding that you didn't do it, that's a whole other thing. And I
But
think that's the problem, is that we don't realize that that was not our doing.
Yeah.
That was not
right.
our doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
just
it's
to
up to us to undo it
yeah.
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 and redo something different.
And I'm very grateful for just kind of tuning into that to just kind of recognize in my grief the person that I grieve the most was the person unfortunately that gave me that conditioning of you need
Mm,
to work. You
Yeah.
need to always provide for yourself. If you're not working, you're being lazy. Huh?
Yeah.
I
Yeah. But
understand.
yeah, yeah, but they gave us different things too. I
Yeah.
remember my grandmother, and I know we're a little bit past time, but I remember my grandmother when I first started talking about Lee. I'm like, I got to get out of nursing, Grandma. I need to do something different. She like, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna teach women how to do this and that because I've always wanted to empower women to empower themselves, and so I want to teach women how to stand up and do their own thing. You sure that's what you want to do, baby? And
Okay.
you
A
sure you
lot of
want
trouble
to
you're
say
making.
I'm a lot? A lot of trouble you making. You stirring up some stuff. I
yep.
said, yeah, Grandma, that's what I want to do. She said, well, all right, baby, then do it. Like, that's why
Oh
I
God.
love my pillars for that. Right? Even though she believes something else,
Hmm.
she's watched me over the years too,
Hmm.
you know. And so I just continue to say your gifts will make room for you if and when you allow them to. And for us, this is a slay in progress. This is a sip, SIP, slay in progress. So I want you to get your slay in progress with me. So continue to meet us in the mornings. We're going to keep having these conversations. We're going to keep bringing those things to the table that may make you a little bit uncomfortable, but it's okay. The whole point is we're giving you the information. We're sharing the information. We want to hear what you have to say too. So definitely put your comments here. Let us know where you are in the journey. And follow us on over now to Clubhouse because we're going to continue a little bit of this conversation and we're going to share our gratitude, intentions, and affirmations of the day so that we can continue to keep our sleigh in progress. Much love to you all. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'll see you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Ah,
Bye.
bye bye, babies. Bye bye.
See